you understand me.
Hello and welcome to The Blunt and the Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
Is it okay being called blunt a lot, or
I think it's nice. I think it works for you.
so you're the beautiful?
I didn't name it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's talk about friendship, because I would say that 70% of the DMs I get is I've been ghosted. My friend doesn't want to be friends anymore. How do I make friends? After I've lost a friend. My friend died. How do I make friends? What school friends, no longer friends with them, toxic friendships, all of that. Now, you obviously have witnessed me have friend breakups, and also new friends in my life over the years. And obviously I've watched that happen with you. Yeah. And I think we both have unique perspectives from different generations. Something that you've touched on before, and when we were on the Curious Conversations podcast, you talked about this, is the difference in bullying and toxic friendships and things in your generation versus my generation. And I want to touch on that. But let's talk first about, what do you think makes a great friend?
I think it's a commitment to loyalty. I think it's, time spent. I think similar to how people view a romantic relationship, I think there's great intimacy in true friendship. I also think it's, I don't know if everyone prescribes to the idea of like the love languages, but your friends can know your love languages too and work with you like that. I think it's understanding someone kind of warts and all, and at some point being aware of their flaws and loving them because of them.
I do think great friendships are love relationships without the sex.
Yeah.
And that's why when you have a separation or that friendship falls apart, and I had one of those, and I called it the divorce.
It's like true heartbreak and grief.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking devastating. And I had a breakup with a friend for 10 years, and we are now best friends again.
Yes.
And we were not friends through circumstances out of our control that I won't go into. But we didn't see each other for 10 years, and I missed her every fucking day.
Well, because you mourn in the same way that you mourn a relationship, you mourn the potential, you mourn the life you could have had with that person, the life that could have been. It's the same with friends.
Yeah, yeah. And it's seeing things that, and I talked to her about it later when we became friends again. She said, I would just think of things all the time that I had to tell you.
Yes.
And that's really hard. I think.
You're walking through a shop and you see a top in the op shop and you go, shit.
Oh, she'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know them.
Yeah, you do know them. But, I was saying before before we started recording that really good friendship to me, I think, is where the loyalty is consistently renewed.
Absolutely.
Someone who's going to stick up for you when you're not there, someone who won't hear any fucking bitching about you.
Yeah.
A while ago someone said something to me about what a person had said to me, and I said, I'm less concerned about what they said about me and more concerned as to why you thought I needed to know that.
Yeah.
And that to me is, I would never tell my friend what someone had said about them that was, untrue or cruel, or just their opinion that was unflattering,
I mean, my go-to in that situation is always, blah, blah, blah was saying this about you, and going very earnestly, what did you say?
Yeah.
That's crazy. What did you say?
Yeah.
Because what space are you in?
Yeah.
That when someone can talk badly about you, your friend is like, yeah, that's so true. She is a big mole.
So one of the things that people message me about, and a lot of my followers are sort of 25 and up, is leaving school friends behind. Now, and I always say, just because you had recess and lunch together for 7 years doesn't mean that it was a friendship that was actually built on shared interests. Yeah. And I think that when you leave school and say you go interstate for university, like both of us did, you make new friends.
Oh, absolutely. And you collect friends along the way from everywhere. I think that there's lots of different seasons of your life that have large influxes of friendships.
Yeah.
Whether that's, starting year 7 or fucking finishing year 12 or starting uni or whatever it is. But there's seasons of your life that, you have influxes of new friends. I mean, Yeah, I think letting school friends go is realizing that the lives you choose are different paths, really different paths.
Yeah, it's interesting. I got invited to a school. It wasn't a school reunion, but it was a, catch up. And I said no. And a couple of people then, why are you going to keep? And I said, I don't see them. They're like, I have, what are we going to talk about? My bung knee. Like, it's just, it's hard enough for me to see my friends that I love and adore. But the thing that I'm recognizing a lot also is girls leaving school friend relationships or groups and realizing that they were never really included.
Yes.
And that whole trend of, the friendship didn't make it out of the
group. Yeah, the holiday didn't make it out of the group chat.
Yeah. And if you want to find out how someone is, as a friend, go on a holiday with them.
Absolutely.
But I see a lot of pain and heartbreak because a girl messaged me recently saying she was really upset. She had been a really good friend to a girl in a group. She was part of a group. She had gone with her to a wedding dress fitting. She had helped her choose her cake. She had done all these things, and she didn't get invited to the wedding.
That's cooked. Sorry.
And she said, do I have a right to be upset?
Yes.
And I went, well, yeah, you do, or you can invoice her for your fucking time.
Yeah, J-Lo called. The wedding planner job's up for grabs again.
Yeah, she gets a little yeah.
Be by her clipboard,
and
girly.
I said, what's going on for you that you can't see that is so unfair? She's used you. She's used your time and your good opinion.
What did the bride think? Oh, well, I can't afford to offer her the chicken or the fish, so she can help me plan it. She feels incled in the day.
That's
what
the
the
ultimate.
fuck is that?
So, and this girl said, I think she didn't want me there because I'm fat. And I said,
now, tricky.
Tricky. I said, I don't know that that's true, but I do think she's designated you to fat friend status.
Yeah.
Where you are the helper.
Yeah, the mule.
Yeah. Anyway, I said to her, that's fucked. And I said, you need to withdraw now. You withdraw and you are pleasant and you are polite.
No, but you no longer have access.
Yeah, you don't get access to me anymore. And she said, yeah, people are saying I should forgive and forget. And I said, yeah, because they don't want to fucking have to deal with the drama of this girl because she's probably a nightmare.
I'm telling you something right now here on the podcast. I've never forgiven nor forgotten.
No,
in my entire life. I'm grudgy as fuck.
Dave once said to me, you're a bit revengey, aren't you? And I said, yes, I am.
And that's a really interesting genetic thing you've passed to me, but rock on.
You know why? Because we're blessed.
Yeah.
And shit sorts itself out.
Love that.
And I said to her, you fucking put that chalk circle around you, mate, and you are not going back.
Also, I have a friend that she believes in what I would like to call her version of vigilante justice, which is when she is wronged, she will forgive the person internally, but she will tell every single person that they know in common. And she will say, I am telling you this because you need to know who they are. And we were at her birthday last year and everyone had to go around the room and say one word about her, and I said vigilante because she has the strongest sense of justice. And sometimes
she's autistic though.
No, someone else.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was your other friend.
No, I've got heaps of judgy-wudgy little friends. That's what I like.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? I'll just forgive and forget with friends. It's like, no, she's a fucking terrible friend.
Yeah, don't be daft.
That is a terrible thing. You have been used and abused. And so this is an interesting thing. I had a breakup with a friend that I was that person with. I absolutely was the fixer and the doer, and that, as someone who grew up with unwell parents, I was that person, and that's how I got my worth.
Well,
and then when I stopped getting my worth that way, because I started getting it through writing, I suddenly went, this is the most unbalanced fucking relationship I've ever seen.
You said, hey guys, I'm actually her PA.
Yeah.
When do I get my money?
Well, it was so funny because a girlfriend of ours was working in a third world country at the time, and she messaged me and said, we have programs to release slaves. Did you want to join?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ.
But, that was the thing that was like, I can't give any more of myself. And I think that in your friendships, it should be reciprocated.
Well, yeah, and also boundaries are really important. I mean, I think we've talked about it when we talked about kind of mother-daughter relationships, but I also think with friendships, the ability to be codependent with a really close friend, and not have those proper boundaries where you can go, oh, you know, I was meant to go to the group thing or whatever the fuck it is, but I feel like shit. I had a shit day at work, whatever the fuck it is. I can't come, but I love you.
Yeah, that should remain the same. Well, you know, one of my closest friends lives in Sydney, and he was down on the weekend. I was supposed to see him Sunday night, and my other close friend was supposed to go, and neither of us could go. And I just said, I can't. I'm knackered. And he was like, "Oh,
Shit happens.
Oh, good. It's not a reflection of the commitment to the friendship. I think it's very hard for women in their 20s to see what is a toxic friendship. And I think that unless someone is constantly building you up and telling you you are capable of amazing things, and I know you can hang a bit of shit and all of that. We do that with our friendship groups. But I really do think that you want so much good for them.
Of course.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Is there's zero competitiveness.
Yes. No, I don't think that there's kind of true, pure friendship with competition.
No, you're absolutely right. And particularly for groups of girls, you know, it's archetypes. You go back to Mean Girls and you look at the different, you know, Reginas and Katies, and you can look at any school group and go, it's the same shit, different year.
Oh, absolutely, because people play a role within like a hierarchy structure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they might look a little different depending on what school you're at, but you play the same part.
Yeah. And I think for me, having made new friends, lost friends, moved away from friends, you know, I was saying on a live the other day and everyone was freaking out. I remember when one of my bridesmaids gave me a mini trampoline for my birthday to get in shape for my wedding.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And I was so dumb at the time.
There is something about weddings that makes reasonable people fatphobic little monsters.
And I was like, what? I was a size 12, by the way. So I was like, what?
Heifer.
And my other friend said to me, my other bridesmaid said, that's so fucking rude.
Yeah.
And I was, one, astonished that she had even thought that, and two, I was astonished that she would say it. It didn't really matter. She could have her opinion on my body, but the fact that she would verbalize it.
But I feel like the role of a friend, the opinion on your body is, I love your body because it's yours.
Yeah.
Because that's where your fucking little soul lives. Yeah. I love your body because it means that you're physically in my fucking life.
Yeah.
And the only time I would say commenting on a friend's body is like, fine, is if they're literally like, oh, babe, you fell over and your knee's bleeding. I noticed it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm an amorphous creature to you.
Yeah.
Until I look really hot and then you can tell me about it. But that's it. No fucking mini tramps.
So when you were 19, you went to Tassie for uni and you had no friends.
I'd never been there except for a pop choir trip in year 9 to Hobart, but I moved to Launceston. So.
Right. So how did you go making new friends?
Well, I'm a very social person. I'm also a very physically affectionate person. I remember having a very sad thought on like week 2 when I was there, and I remember sitting in my room doing my makeup and being like, haven't cuddled anyone in 2 weeks was my thought to myself.
Baba.
Because I just had, it wasn't normal for me. My entire life I had grown up and lived in the same city and gone to the same school from 3-year-old kinder till year 12. I'd always had the same people around me. And when I tell you, in order to make friends, I frankly humiliated myself. No, I walked up to a group of people that were smoking ciggies in the courtyard of my apartment building and was like, hi, I'm Tassie, bye, and just like pissed off again because I was like.
Did you make friends with any of them?
It's Paige.
Oh, Paige.
One of my best friends, yeah, one of my best friends in the entire world. And then the next time I saw her, in particular, no one told me that across the road from the apartments I lived in, there was quite a large ditch in the grass, and I was walking across the grass and I fucking ate shit in this ditch, right?
Did you go, woo?
And there was the same group of people now smoking cigarettes, not in the courtyard, but by the letterboxes.
Good woman down.
One of them who became a really close friend of mine, she laughed so hard when I fell, and I was like, I'm so embarrassed, but I think it's a pretty good sign that she pissed herself laughing.
Yeah, she's going to be my friend.
Yeah, that's a girl like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a post last year because someone messaged me saying their best friend had died, and they were best friends for 30 years, and she is devastated. You know, they literally grew up together from one. You know, she's now 30. She's lost her best friend, very sadly passed of cancer, and what could she do? And I think there is no loneliness like losing a best friend.
Oh, it is excruciating.
And particularly whether it's losing a best friend through that relationship disintegrating, or through distance, or through death. And I said to her, you are going to have to be the bravest person you've ever been.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have to make some new friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's entirely possible to make new friends at any age.
Yeah.
And I actually think the friends you make in adulthood are actually more balanced than school friends, because the hierarchy of school and the groups and the popularity scores and all of that doesn't really play out when you're an adult. So, you know, you're 28 now.
Yeah.
You've left school a long time ago. I know you still see some people from school, but your friendship group is very varied now.
Well, I have a few friends that are like my best friends that are school friends, right? And I have some kind of really, really close. I believe best friend is not a single person label. It's a tier, just for people listening at home.
The inner circle.
Yeah, I've got a wider inner circle than just school friends, but one of my oldest friends was in the year above me at school, and we're still, I don't know, talk every day type vibe. But our wider friendship group is a few of us that went to school together and a bunch of people from all over.
Yeah.
And that, I think, makes it really balanced because it's lots of people from really different backgrounds, lots of people from like not Melbourne. Yeah, and so I think it makes for quite a balanced space.
So what about when you've had friends that have had issues that you know you can't fix and they aren't fixing them? Say mental health, a drug addiction, alcoholism, like that's really hard to watch, to say I'm actually going to step away from that friendship.
I think in that case it's really a, hey babe, I'm not qualified, but I'm happy to go with you to the GP so we can find someone who is.
But if they keep repeating that pattern, and it's I've got a friend who's going through that at the moment actually, and they've ended up sending the text to say, I wish you nothing but peace.
Yeah.
But I can't be that person for you anymore because nothing is changing.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a sign of healthy self-respect, but there's a grief that goes with that.
And guilt. Like, even though you know you're actually doing the right thing, you're doing what serves you as the individual, and we can't all pop on our little hair sweaters and jump on the cross. Like, the martyrdom doesn't help, right? To kind of put yourself wholly to the side in service of another person. But it feels really shameful to feel like you've given up on someone because that feels like you're betraying them, even if you aren't.
And if it's affecting you, then it's not a healthy friendship.
No.
When I was talking to this woman who was, you know, who's lost her best friend, and I have lost a best friend at 18, and one of my dearest friends in the inner circle passed away, 2 years ago from stomach cancer, and but her closest, bestest friend in the whole world that she grew up with, I remember saying to her at the funeral, there is no support for friends when your best friend dies. There's support for partners and family and children and parents, but there's no best friends grief club. And people expect you just to get on with it. And I know that she has really struggled. And she said to me later, it really mattered that you recognise that. And I said, I've only recognised it because I've been there, like it's a really hard thing to lose that. But there's also ways of losing friends through circumstance, obviously, like moving away, interests and things like that. But there's also realising that your friend's an asshole.
And that's a grief unto itself. But you want to talk about shame?
Yeah.
Realising someone you've invested all this time and love into is a prick.
Yeah.
That's tricky.
I haven't had that. I've had dysfunctional friendships, but I haven't had someone that I go, "Oh, you're actually fucked."
I have, but more so like I didn't become friends with them of my own volition, friend of a friend vibe.
Okay.
And it's me sitting there looking at my friend being like, you did this to us.
Yeah,
You did this.
Yeah, yeah. And it's that thing of trying to extricate yourself without turning the crazy on yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, my best friend moments are when the shit goes down. So if shit goes down tomorrow, like fucking something shocking happens, who's your phone tree?
Yeah.
And for me, it is a group of 4 people.
Yeah.
They're my phone tree.
Mhm.
And I think that's more than enough.
Yeah.
And 2 of them, one of them lives interstate and I see her once every 2 years.
Yeah.
But the connection is massive.
Of course.
So I think that the thing of having a lot of friends is actually kind of dysfunctional as well. You can't possibly give to all of those people the way that you need to have that loyalty renewed.
I agree with that. I don't think that you can say that 45 people are your best friends, but I also think that you can have a lot of friends. I believe in creating community
Yes.
for yourself, and I believe that that community can be far-reaching.
But you're not calling all 45 when the shit goes down, are you?
No, but I'm bringing them in when I need them,
Yeah, okay.
or saying to the core, who are the pillars of my life, spread the word, tell the people.
But that's because your
Bit
friends
town
are
crier.
your chosen family.
Absolutely.
And as we get older and we see more of the estranged families, your logical family versus your biological family
it's
is
very
really
prevalent.
important.
I mean, I have a friendship group of kind of predominantly queer friends, and we do a massive Christmas lunch every year. And for my actual biological family, we do a very small Christmas. We love a small Christmas, and this is like a sit down lunch for 35 people that I'm going to every year.
How many of them are estranged from their?
Not that many, really, but
Okay.
it is a space where we can. Christmas is exactly what you want it to be without any. You and I have spoken about this in the past, but like this idea of kind of very, very stifling tradition.
Yes.
We are creating our own traditions is kind of the vibe in that friendship group.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I think friendship has changed a lot with your generation and younger, that your friends are your real family now. And a lot of people with boomer parents who have estranged because it's too fucking hard.
Yeah, a bit much.
You have a soul sister, you have a, soul brother, they, them, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's really normal. I think that, we talked the other day about mother-daughter being best friends. For me, which I think is really unhealthy, I think that you have to look at who is going to be there for you when your parents die.
Absolutely.
One of the things I fucking can't get my head around is how people don't realise that your parents are going to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Any day now. No.
Any day. There's a fucking number on my head.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like, so one of my closest girlfriends, her mum just died. And it happened very quickly. She just went downhill, blah, blah, blah. And she said to me later, "I'm really sorry I gave you a text message play-by-play." I said, "Babe, you can fucking text me whatever you want." It was me and our other friend. We have a group text. And she was like, 801, shallow breathing, la, la, la. And she said, "I'm really sorry." I said, "No, you were asking us to witness you."
Of course.
That's my fucking pleasure.
Yeah, and
in a shit time.
Yeah, especially in spaces where as a friend it is, there's a line. It's vaguely inappropriate for you to be in the hospital.
Yeah.
As your friend's parent dies. But your friend needs to share what happened so that you understand them.
Yeah.
So they will give you a play-by-play. And play-by-play it for me, sweets.
The other thing that I see a lot of, and I guess it's because I'm on social media a lot and I watch, is people, I think you get to an age where you go, okay, my friend is always going to be late.
Yes.
I get it. She's been late for fucking 34 years. That's how it is. I'm going to stop talking about it. You know, it's not news anymore. She also knows I'm really bossy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not news either.
Mm-hmm.
We just accept those flaws in each other.
Mm.
And I think if the other good shit is better than the bad shit, then you have to just suck it up.
I agree. I do think that there's something to be said about healthy boundaries in a friendship. And if you're upset with a behavior, you can voice it and go, hey, when you are late, it makes me feel like you don't give a shit about my time.
Yeah.
But I love you.
Yeah,
and
I'm over that. I can't do it anymore. I just go, I just tell them to be there 15 minutes earlier than we're supposed to.
So you lie to your friends,
Yeah,
Kate?
I do.
Do you? You tell lies? Wow. Wow.
So in terms of you, when is the time that you have decided to leave a friendship?
I am very conflict averse when it comes to friends, and I love to fade away.
Oh, you just do the slow French exit.
Drifty, 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 drift out to sea. Do I?
Do you have a rule for that? Because I'm like, if I decide to do that, it's like I only answer every third call, every fourth call.
Oh, no, it's like a no calls.
Oh.
But I'll text back and say, oh, sorry, busy, I'll call you later. I lie to friends too.
Oh.
No, but no, I just, when I get to a point where I feel like it's no longer serving either of us, either of the friends, not that I can make decisions for other people, and I certainly know it's not fucking serving me. I'm like, oh, we're going to have to call a spade here. And I really think that sometimes being like, hey, I hate you is really annoying.
Yeah, because people say, why don't you give me an answer that you don't want to be friends anymore? And I'm like, because I don't want to have to say you're a knob.
I don't want to go, hey, I tried it for a while and I realized that you suck ass, bro. Sorry. Like, I don't want to do that.
I don't like who I am when I'm around you.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a big one. I don't like you anymore.
Hey, I hung out with your personality for a while and I realized it's pretty bad.
Well, it's like people who are addicts and you know, they hang out with, you know, one person in the group decides they're not going to smoke weed anymore and suddenly, you know, you're not my friend anymore. Well, we're only friends because we had a mutual addiction.
Circumstantial friendship. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's massive. It's a massive one.
It's like the school friends thing though. Yeah, you know, you evaluate your friends, and you've always said to me, would you go up to them at a party if you didn't know them?
Yes.
If you met them at a party, would you like them? Which is, you know, my friends from school, my like best friend from school, he and I have been friends for a really, really, really long time. And I maintain yesterday, today and tomorrow that if I met him tomorrow, he and I would click.
Yeah. I'm the same with both of my two besties.
Yeah.
And it's that Tom Ford, the fashion designer, has that thing that before he works with you, he goes out for dinner with you.
Absolutely.
Would I dine with this person?
Yeah.
And it was funny, you know, I've just recently asked one of my besties to work on a project with me. And she said, oh, surely there's someone else. I said, I don't want to work with anyone else. The older I get, the more it should be fun.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why, you know, same actors work with the same directors over and over again.
mean, I have a friend that's a playwright that I work with over and over and over again because we fucking love working together.
Yeah, exactly, because it doesn't feel like work.
No,
right?
It doesn't feel like work. And, you know, much like me and my mum on the podcast, I love to commodify a relationship that means a lot to me.
Hey, I'm monetizing you.
I wish you
You're
would,
taking
bitch.
the day off school today.
Write me a note.
But the thing is too, also, if you're like, you know, the veiled snarky comments that girls have in friendship groups and like you have to grow out of that. If you're doing it, one, knock it off. Two, do not spend time around people who go, are you wearing that?
I agree. I do feel like if it's not around me or near me or to me, I will say I do believe it is an art form. The backhanded fucking compliments, Snyder side bullshit. Oh my God, those look so comfy.
Yeah, that looks affordable.
That's the Dame Edna, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, your outfit looks so affordable.
Yeah, if you don't like, and also celebrating your friends' differences.
Just another one. I have a friend that bought a beautiful pair of shoes and he wore them to work quite a lot. He wore them recently and a woman at work came up to him and went, God, don't you love those?
Oh.
Love it. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, I had a so-called friend years ago who I had this beautiful top and I always wear it. And she said to me, "You always wear that top. I mean, it looks good." And I was like, what do you fucking mean? You know, it's the little well-placed cut that a toxic friend can have that will leak your entire confidence out of it.
Well, yeah, it's the competitiveness. It's sweetie's getting a bit big for her little britches. I might just boop.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop.
I mean, I have a friend that, you know, I could say to her, "I need to drive to Sydney tomorrow," and she'd be like, "What time do you want me to pick you up?"
Yeah.
No questions asked, nothing. That's it. Like 100%. When the shit goes down, and the shit has gone down in, you know, my life because I'm 53 and everyone has shit goes down. They're the ones that I do the group text.
Of course.
One of them, their child was sick with cancer. Very, very, very terrible time. Thankfully, he survived. But we had a group chat, and she did like month-long stints, maybe 6 months in the children's hospital because he was having transplants and couldn't leave, and immunotherapy and all of that. And we had the most unhinged. So she'd tell us all this terrible news, and then I don't know, like it would go to Kerry Ann Kennelly, and then it would go to the Oscars, and then it would go to some lewd joke. And she said to me later, that group chat kept me connected. It kept me entertained. It reminded me that I have a life outside of the fucking transplant unit at the children's hospital. And for me, it's the same.
Yeah.
You know, like those... when one of our friends' mums died very, very suddenly, very tragically, and our friend rang and said, "I'm coming down, mum's died, terrible." And I rang her and she said, "I'll pick you up," straight out to the airport.
Yeah, of course.
Like there wasn't even a discussion. He didn't even get a fucking choice, just two bitches in a car turning up going, "Hello."
No, but that's also part of, I think, true friendship is showing up when no one asks you to.
Yeah, like
knowing. I think about this is an old example, but a friend of mine when we were at school, we were in year 11, and her boyfriend was in year 12, and he cheated on her when he was at schoolies. And we got a message in the big girls group chat in year 11 saying, blah, blah, blah has broken up with blah, blah, blah. Can everyone come to Oriental Tea House, Chapel Street? And within 2 hours, there were 15 girls there.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting, being like, right, what do we need? What do you need?
Yeah.
Please get 2 more serves of the shumai dumplings and let's have a chat.
Yeah.
He's an asshole. You know, like, but everyone just dropped what they were doing and rocked up.
Yeah.
And I think about it a lot as like this beautiful display of obviously low stakes because we were kids.
Yeah, but
it
womanhood.
mattered. Yeah.
And also respecting, you know, that kind of connection. I mean, I look at a lot of your friendships and think you have really healthy friendships, but I think you make them healthy because you have really good boundaries.
Because I won't do anything I don't want to do because I'm stubborn.
But you also don't want to fix things.
No.
My problem with friends over the years is I try and fix things because that's my role. Now I don't. Now I just go, actually the learning is in the uncomfortableness.
Yes.
And
I'm a big fan of
actually
that.
going to make it worse for you if I do this for you.
Well, yeah, because it's a bit teach a man to fish vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I think a great part of you and part of your personality is your generosity and how much you want to assist the people in your life and you want to make their lives easier. And it feels like, not in a transactional way, but you're like, you make my life better. I'd like to do the same for you.
Yeah. And I want everyone to meet their own potential. But you know, that whole thing about looking at people's potential is actually just looking at what you would do if you were in their situation. So I've got to fucking step back, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't. It's not sustainable.
No.
And it's also not sustainable because they become reliant on you.
Yeah.
And you end up taking too much for them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And then you don't have a really good sense of self. You know, I remember saying to you at school when you're going through, you know, normal school friendship shit, it's not like that when you get to be an adult if you don't want it to be.
Mm.
Like, you should only spend time with people who celebrate you, who are proud of you, who fucking can hang a bit of shit on you and you hang a bit of shit on them.
Absolutely.
In a nice, kind, not veiled, passive aggressive shit.
But also friends that you can read well enough that on, out for drinks with a bigger group of friends or whatever, turn around to your close friend and being like, are you okay?
Yeah.
You're being a nightmare.
Yeah.
And that isn't World War III.
Yeah.
That's a check-in, You
Yeah.
okay? Something's off.
Yeah.
And you have the open communication enough to be like, I can feel that something's wrong and I feel like I have the past to call you out on your behaviour or vice versa.
Yeah, and also because it's going to be bad for them. That's actually being a good friend.
Yeah.
That is being a good friend. I think when you feel beholden to someone, they don't have any other friends, I'm their only friend, that's not your responsibility. Why don't they have any other friends?
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong with them? Are they rude? Are they
Absolutely.
insular? Are they what's going on?
I agree. I couldn't agree with that more.
Like, there's a reason for that. And I remember asking my psychiatrist early on when I first started seeing her, and she was like, tell me about your friends and marriage and all of that. And I said to her later, why did you ask about that? And she said, well, if you can't hold long friendships, there's something not right. There's something not working. Not that I believe you have to be friends with everyone forever, but you should have at least one 10-year plus friendship.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm always wary of, particularly girls, I fucking hate this. I don't have friends. I have my sisters.
Whoa.
Yeah,
no.
I've had 2 women say that to me.
Were they mad at you? Why did they say that?
I don't know. But I was like, something, friends. And she goes, I don't have friends. I just have my sisters. And I said,
I got all my sisters with me.
that's a little bit culty.
Oh, it's very long braid. It's very long braid and a high neck.
Yeah, it's a little
Children
bit
of the corn shit.
sister wives. Yeah, I don't have friends. I have my sisters. And I'm like, really? Because fuck, I've only got friends, man. Like, my friends are just so important. My oldest friend, her brother and I were born 4 days apart in the hospital, and her mum waddled down to see my mum and 4 days later had her son.
That's so
Anna
funny.
and I have been friends from day dot.
Yeah.
Like, still friends. In fact, it's beyond friendship. She lost her sister, and and we're soul sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't have to see each other all the time. We also don't do small talk. We only do big talk.
Yeah.
Straight into it. How's things? How's the kids? Nah, this guy's a fucking asshole and has just broken my heart. Whatever it is, and straight into it, and we just fucking go hard.
Rock and roll, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
huge.
for me, as I get older and I've had shit happen, parents die and people get sick, kids get sick or whatever, it's, it's the friends who show up that will surprise you with the love that is bigger than that, like during COVID, I remember a friend of mine was going through a really hard time. They had no money. Like, it was hard, and it was even hard for her to say that to me. And just one day I just went to the shops and bought a fuck ton of food and treats, and just went and dropped it on her doorstep and pressed a button and ran away.
You ding-dong ditched her.
I ding-dong ditched her with some good treats.
We just did the exact same nose thing at the same. We went, it's very scary sometimes.
But to me, it's like, later she would do that for me.
Of course.
Like, it's reciprocal. And
I think it's interesting to think about things being completely reciprocal but not transactional. I think there's a really fine line between it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get to a place where you're like, I actually dropped off groceries to you.
Yeah, you owe me
Where's
nothing
my
for that.
gesture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you get to it. My mum is a good friend and has a lot of good friends.
Yes.
And I grew up
long friendships.
And I grew up in an environment where those friends of hers and their kids were like cousins, really, more than cousins to me. So I think you are taught how to be a friend. For you, when I look back and see some of the toxic friendships that I think you had as a child or teen, those kids were really fucking damaged.
Oh, yeah.
Like, kids don't just come out and say, I'm going to be a Regina George.
No.
that they actually have shit going on at home. And so, I want to ask you quickly about what your psychiatrist said about someone that you had trouble with at school.
Yes, as all teens / early 20s people do, I went to my psych and I was like, I hate her. So,
Yeah.
and she was like, okay, so tell me some things you like about this person. And I was like, how? And she was like, have a go. And I was like, okay. And so I told my psych all the things that I was like, and she was like, you can be as superficial as you want. And I was like, she has nice hair. Like me being incredibly obstinate. But yeah, I made a list of all the things I liked about this person, even if it was kind of throwaway nothing things. And then she asked me to list all of the things I disliked about this person. And I could go as in-depth or as superficial as I want. Which was like, I said I liked her hair, but her ends are really dry.
Yeah.
Like me just being a mole. And then she was like, okay, so let's look at the list of what you like about her and the list of what you dislike about her. And based on those things, what can you understand? And so I kind of, it was like, it was like a bit Venn diagram vibes, crossing over both pieces of paper and being like, oh, well, I said one of my issues with her was that she talks over people all the time, and I feel like she can, she interrupts a lot, and I think she's really bad at reading the room or whatever. And my psych was like, yeah, but you also said in what you liked about her that you enjoy how vulnerable she's been, and she told you how neglectful her parents were. And I was like, so what I understand is that that's a reaction. That was kind of the vibe, and it has gone on to be one of the most helpful exercises for me when I can't wrap my head around someone, when I just have that like, oh, I don't like you feeling.
Yeah.
Because kind of it creates empathetic kind of synapses or whatever in your brain.
Yeah.
That I think leads to, understanding someone is always better than not.
And there's a reason people are like that. As you say, no one comes out going, I'm going to be the meanest girl at high school. They're made that way. Probably, as they say, your mother is your first bully.
Yeah.
So for someone like her or some of the people that I remember being mean girls at school in particular, all had really shit home lives.
Absolutely.
Really neglectful, abandoned parents. And that's a really big one, It doesn't mean that I want to have dinner with you.
No.
But it does mean that I don't want you to starve, and any friendship that I've moved away from over the years or whatever has been for me, this isn't right for me, and it's not making me a nice person.
Yeah.
My trouble is I as you know, go in whole heart and sometimes kind of get bruised and abused with that. And for me is, my psychiatrist said to me, what you give to your friends is really beautiful, but it is a gift and you have to choose wisely on who gets
Special
it.
occasions only for presents.
Yeah, because I want everyone to be amazing.
You saying before that you feel like I've got pretty good boundaries. That's probably because I've seen you be taken advantage of.
Yeah, I have.
To be honest,
I
I think that seeing that, because I've seen how generous and beautiful and well-meaning you've been, and then seeing people take advantage of it, poor lady, has made me be like, get fucked. Sorry. No, I still am. I feel like I still am quite generous with my friends and do what I can for them, but I've been pretty strict with boundaries. Yeah. Because of it.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, there was a girl I knew on the internet. We kind of knew each other a bit. We'd done some writing together. And then her mum died and I had her come and stay with me and my family.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then a friend said to me later, was it not a red flag that she had no one else to stay with?
Yeah.
When she grew up here. And I was like, I just didn't want her to feel sad. And she's like, her mum just died. You couldn't fix that.
She's sad. It's sad. It's objectively sad.
Yeah, it is sad. So for me,
she's as sad as anyone would be, babes.
Yeah. And that's, that you got to sit in your own shit to clean yourself up.
But I mean, this is me parroting my psychiatrist today. Welcome to the pod. But
in absentia.
Yeah, my psych and I were talking about it once, and she was saying that little girls in particular get their worth from being a helper. And when that is the only time as a child that you're validated is from being helping.
Yeah, that was definitely me.
Yeah.
Definitely me. Middle child helper.
Yeah, help. So then as you got older, you discern more and more self-worth from being as helpful as humanly possible.
And also I'm really good at solving crises.
Yes, you are. You're really good at a triage-based situation. And also, you are a good little helper, aren't you?
I'm so compliant. Good little middle child of the 70s.
Helpy delpy.
Yeah, so for me that's like I think I'm a better friend for having done that work and done those changes and been better at recognizing what my friend needs in that time.
Yeah.
That's also another one is saying, what do you need right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So for you, like as you get older, how have you made more friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people get stuck in a rut, don't they? Like this is my group from high school and
we're besties for life.
Yeah.
Besties 5 ever.
Yeah, that's that kind of Friends sitcom thing though, isn't it?
But it kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's very odd. But yeah, I've got collecting friends like Pokemon cards, mate. No, I've got my core group.
Yeah.
But I've got other friends.
How do you do when someone wants to be your friend and you don't want to be their friend? So obviously on TikTok, I have people who say, can we be best friends?
And you said, I don't know you.
Yeah. Like recently, I'm flying down to Melbourne. Can we have lunch?
That's so sorry. I'm sure your beautiful TikTok followers are so well-meaning. Do they comprehend that that's genuinely unsafe?
I don't know. Like some people think they're really good friends with me.
The parasocial shit gets so creepy, dude.
Yeah, that is weird. I do struggle with that a bit. I have struggled with that a bit. And it's, I've met some amazing people online.
Oh, absolutely.
And probably.
And you have made friends with people online.
I have. I've got a couple of I've got one other creator who I really love, and I've got 2 followers who are people I would hang out with at a party.
Absolutely. But going to a fucking blind date brunch with someone who you've never met nor spoken to before is not happening.
Yeah, and there was a time, this is like getting successful as you get older. I probably would have gone and tried to solve everything.
Put it down, Brett.
I know.
Put it down, mate. Enough.
But now that I'm older and have boundaries and have done that work and go, sorry, I can't, but that's lovely. Thanks for including me in your life plans.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, the parasocial friendships is weird. But also there is a community online that will give you more help than your normal community. I've had people say that, mothers groups have been awful for them, and yet online communities have been amazing.
Absolutely.
So,
and that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed every second of that.
As did I, my love.
Yes.
Hope everyone listening goes out and makes a friend today.
Yeah, be brave. If you
Message
want to make
Kate
friends,
for a coffee.
Fucked.
She's free.
Yeah, Tassie's my door bitch.
Yeah, I'm not coming.
Yeah, no, seriously. If you want to make friends, you have to go where the people are that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And be brave.
Be vulnerable. Do hobbies. I don't know, get out there, girly.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.